Good afternoon, welcome to The Bark. We're your hosts. I'm Nick Kuster.
I'm Jared Lipson.
We have a great show for you guys today. We have a women's basketball recap, and then we have a stand-up interview with softball player Peyton Longest.
The women's basketball team went 1-1 on the weekend, beating number 11 Marquette before losing to DePaul. Will Hoy has the DePaul highlights.
The Butler women's basketball team traveled to Chicago on February 24th to take on the DePaul Blue Demons. The first half was dominated by DePaul, shooting 46% from the field and having a 16-point lead after 30 minutes. The Bulldogs fought back in the second half, outscoring DePaul 21-12 in the third quarter. But the Blue Demons were too overpowering in this one, defeating the Bulldogs by a final score of 76-62. DePaul was led by Shantae Stonewall and Ashton Melender, who combined for 32 points in the win. For the Bulldogs, Tori Schickel had a strong game, with 14 points and 6 rebounds. After this game, DePaul now has a more substantial lead on Butler in the Big East standings.
The Butler women's basketball team now has an overall record of 20-7 and sit at third in the Big East. They only have 2 games remaining on their schedule, both of which take place here at Hinkle Fieldhouse. For The Bark, I'm Will Hoy.
Thanks, Will. Now we're here with women's basketball analyst Mohsen Warich. Thanks for being here, Mohsen.
Good to be here.
I just have a few questions about women's basketball. Can you just kind of talk about what happened this weekend, what stood out?
Yeah, this weekend, 2 tough games on the road against Marquette on Friday night and then on Sunday against DePaul, the top 2 teams in the Big East. And so the Dogs needed a couple of big wins to, improve their tournament resume. Marquette's a ranked opponent, number 11 in the country, so the Dogs were able to go on the road and get a big win. 4 players in double-figure scoring, which was huge. Tori Schickel had 14 points, and she also scored 19 against DePaul. Unfortunately, the Dogs weren't able to come away with a win against DePaul, but if you had to pick a game for them to win, I think we both agreed that the win against number 11 Marquette was huge.
Speaking of the tournament, can you kind of talk about the prospects the Bulldogs have for the tournament coming up?
They got 2 more games. Both of them are at home against Hinkle, against Georgetown and Villanova. Those are big-time games that we need to win. And so the Dogs need to make sure they emphasize on defending the 3-point shot in order to get those wins. DePaul hit 14 threes, which is something that the Dogs cannot afford moving forward. And so they need to win these 2 games against Villanova and Georgetown in order to gain some momentum before the Big East tournament, where they hopefully lock down the 3 seed and then hopefully get a couple wins in the Big East tournament to increase their tournament resume and then end up in the tournament.
What are some key things Butler can improve upon going forward?
You know what? Turnovers are big. And the Dogs had 17 turnovers against Marquette. They obviously got the win, but those are some missed opportunities for scoring the rock. And that's something they also struggle with against DePaul and down the stretch. DePaul can extend their lead because turnovers, missed shots, going these scoring droughts. So as I mentioned before, we need to limit 3-point shooting. The Dogs need to emphasize on their turning the ball over less, and then at the same time, making sure they're getting good, effective shots to keep themselves in the game.
Thanks for being here, Mohsen. For this week's Athlete Spotlight, Bark reporter Peyton Thompson caught up with softball player Peyton Longest. Peyton?
Hey guys, I'm here with outfielder for the Butler softball team, Peyton Longest. Peyton, you just got back from the Madeira Beach Invitational. Tell me a little bit about that. What are some things you guys realized that you need to work on, and what are some things that you did well?
So we went 2 for 3 this weekend, and we're a really strong defensive team, so that's something we definitely did well. But something that we can improve on is improving our situational hitting and putting up more power numbers.
Yeah, awesome. So to kick off the season, tell me some of your goals and some of the things you're looking for to achieve as a team.
Our ultimate goal this season is to get back to the Big East Championship and win that so we can have a run at the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, well, that's definitely a great goal to have. So you have 10 new freshmen on the team. Tell me a little bit about what that's like and how are they looking up?
It's been great having that much depth on our bench and having even freshmen start. It's been awesome. So everyone's been able to have their own role on their team, and it's just made us even stronger.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you also have a little sister on the team, right?
Yeah, it's been really fun getting to play with her again.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming in and joining us today. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Peyton. I'm here with Bark men's basketball analyst Josh Molnax. And Josh, tough loss for the Butler Bulldogs against Providence the other night. What did you see in that game? Why did Butler struggle so much?
Well, first off, they got off to such an awful start. 10 points in the paint for Providence right away. They just gave up easy buckets in the early going. Their bench got outscored for the first time since early January, and that's just something that can't happen. Got outscored 26-13, and when players like Sean McDermott and Paul Jorgensen are struggling, you've got to get more bench production when 5 players come off the bench. Even with Kamar playing as well as he did, it just didn't matter. So those were a couple things, but they struggled. Didn't play 40 minutes again, which has been a problem the last couple weeks, and again, it came back to bite them.
So obviously you got to put that loss behind you now because you go to Villanova next. So you have 3 games left in the regular season and then the Big East tournament, and they don't want to have to play on that Wednesday. So in these last 3 games, what do they need to do to not play on Wednesday?
I think they need to go 2-1. I don't think it's a big deal if they lose to Villanova, but they beat Providence. They keep them behind them in the standings. Providence is currently behind them as Butler sits in 7th. And then if they play Xavier, they win that head-to-head, and Xavier's, I think, a game or half a game ahead of them right now. So, and Georgetown's ahead of them as well. I think Georgetown's going to lose twice. They play Marquette and Seton Hall still, so I think they're going to fall behind as long as Butler goes 2-1. And they should have the head-to-heads. It should work out the right way so that they get that 6th spot and don't have to play it on the first day.
So really the big question that everybody's asking is this team going to make the tournament? And how do they get an at-large bid into the NCAA tournament this year?
I think at this point it's win 5 straight. They got to win the rest of these games. 9-9. The goal is still 9-9 in conference. That doesn't really change. I think this loss to Providence will ultimately weigh out if they get that road win at Villanova. That's a really good win. And then I think they have to get to the Big East Championship at this point. I don't think they have to win. Now, of course, it'd be nice to just win it and get that automatic bid. I don't think they have to win to get in, but at this point, their margin for error is none. They have to win 5 straight. I think that gets them in the tournament, but anything short of that, I think they fall short.
Thanks, Josh. The Butler men's baseball team is 2-3 on the season so far, and they travel to Indiana Wednesday afternoon. Bark reporter Sam Pfeiffer has more.
After starting the season 2-3, the Butler University baseball team is looking to get to 500 with a big win over Big Ten opponent and in-state rival Indiana. But this game means more than just a way to have a better record.
They're a really, really good opponent. We go down there, a lot of us know each other, so we really get after it when we go head-to-head, and they're pretty similar to the teams that we're going to see in conference as it comes to pitching and our pitchers having to deal with their lineup. So we go and take this one, especially sitting at I think 2-3 that we are right now. We need that little push, and getting this game would definitely be that push.
In the 10 meetings between the two teams since 2008, the Bulldogs are 1-9 and are not taking that very lightly.
I personally played 4 times, so once on a midweek again in my freshman year, where we ended out on top and getting a nice win there, and then we actually played them in a 3-game series last year, where we ended up getting swept. But personally, as a team and the guys returning, we felt like we should have won 2 of those games, and we're just excited to play them again.
We all still have a pretty bad taste in our mouth from that one. Wasn't the best weekend, and I don't think we really like to look back on that one. So we're trying to rewrite the script a little bit and go get them this weekend.
With all the preparation going into the game, the Dogs are ready for Indiana.
We're definitely excited when it comes up. Get to go play at that awesome stadium that they have and see guys that we know. So just every single day, whether it be the weight room, our hitting facility at practice, and even other games, it's just getting better every single day for really what ends up being just another game.
We just want to go out there and take what we learned the past few weeks and try to improve each and every day.
With all the preparation and experience, the Butler Bulldogs are ready for IU this Wednesday at 3 p.m. For The Bark, I'm Sam Pfeiffer.
Thank you, Sam. Ashley Lizzie has been with the Butler lacrosse team since its first match in 2017. Bark reporter Kayla Bartle has the story.
I started picking up lacrosse when I was a freshman in high school. One of my friends asked me to play, and it was supposed to keep us in shape for soccer season, and I ended up falling in love with it freshman year of high school. I've been playing lacrosse since high school, and ever since then it's always been about playing sports and just enjoying it. I've always liked the girls who played lacrosse. There's just good camaraderie, why we play the game and everything, just to keep the spirit of the game alive. I enjoy playing all kinds of sports, so it's just, for me, it was another love of the game type thing, and I fell in love with it, and that's why I continue to play today. Being a Butler women's lacrosse player is about playing for the name on the front of your jersey, not on the back of your jersey, and I really enjoy being a part of a brand new program, being able to create our own traditions, our own rituals, whatever we want to do. We have created a culture here, and I've been here for all 3 years of that, and I think that that's an incredible thing that I've been able to be a part of. I'd have to say our favorite memory was our first win against Gardner-Webb my freshman year. just proved to us that all of our hard work wasn't meaningless and like we had a purpose for it. So that was an awesome day. I'd say athletics is probably one of my top priorities, so like 10 on a scale from 1 to 10, just because I also want to go into a coaching field after I'm done, whether that's sports performance or lacrosse coaching. I want to continue with it, and so me playing sports here and just loving it and loving all aspects of it really helped shape my future. So for me, sports is like a big motivator because it's also why I'm in communications. It's why I'm a double minor in sports studies and recreation sport coaching. So I'd say it's 10. I would say I play for my dad. He never had the opportunity to play college sports. He played soccer his entire life and then never was able to make it to college for that, but he did run track at University of Florida, so I think like I continue to play to live out what he started, and I just like making him happy, and it makes me happy being in sports, and it gives us a common ground to bond over.
That's it for this episode of The Bark. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nick Kuster.
I'm Jared Lipson, and
Go Dogs.